Kia stores of Anniston, Oxford, for the Coach Etheredge Show. Like always, each week we have Coach Etheredge on. This week we have the one and only, the legend, Will Wagner. Oaks Bluff legend, man. What's up? He's back. He's well known in the city of Gadsden and Oaks Bluff for sure, and for good reason. He's one of the best offensive minds in the state of Alabama, in my opinion. And I'm not just saying that because he's sitting here.
Absolutely.
I really mean it. Actually, we made a post on Average Joe's about that, and I don't even know if you know this. 15,000 people it reached in 2 days.
I believe it.
15,000 because it was shared so many times. That was pretty cool.
I'll be honest. I think a lot of it's having good offensive players. So, but I'll tell you, I appreciate it.
Hey, that goes hand in hand, no doubt.
That's right.
Coach, last week you had a 59-20 win, another region win. Coach Cochran said, before we went up there and played, he said he knew that was going to be physical, and you guys wanted to get out to a good start, and it looked like that happened again. Take us back to last week.
We got up 41-0 at halftime again. I think it ended up being 48-0 or something like that before we subbed our. We let our starters play the first drive of the second half, and then we had all our young guys in there. So, we did a great job of jumping on them fast. Defense did a great job of coming out and stuffing them. I think we drove right down, and then we dropped the ball on a fourth down in like 5 inside the 20-yard line, and then they took over, and I think we caused a turnover the very first play, and then we scored. So, and then it sort of snowballed from there. I thought we did a great job on both sides of the football. Took care of the football great. Did a great job of. We still made some little mental mistakes. Defense, we had them stopped a couple of times, and then let penalties, carry on drives. And our young guys got to learn to come in there and finish and take over where those older guys have left off, because we gave up 20 points, of course, after we put the younger guys in that fourth quarter.
I know everybody was snapping about that.
Yeah, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I mean, it's one of those things where those young guys are getting a good experience, and Pell City, they did a good job. Once our younger guys got in there, they started grinding it out and running the football and doing it. They've got some good players.
They, the thing about it is when those guys get in there, like you said last week, some of them think they want to play, and some of them get in there and they realize maybe I need to go work out a little bit more.
Well, that's right. I mean, and like I said, Pell City's got a good football team, and they do a good job over there. I got a lot of friends over there, a lot of kids that I coach over there, so I know what kind of players they got, and you can't go in there and not be on your A game. You better bring it every single week.
Absolutely. Will, something I've noticed about this season, man, you guys get out to those fast starts like Coach just said. I know you preach getting out to a fast start and getting everything rolling, but man, how do you get that done? Like, it's like each week we see the same start, but here we're at 30, 40, 50,
Well, I think, a lot of it's due to our experience on offense. We returned a ton of guys from last year.
Absolutely.
And I think last year that was kind of one thing that was, tough for our offense is, it took us a couple drives to figure out what they were doing and what they were trying to take away, and to figure out what was best for us, how to put our guys in the best situations to be successful, and it took us a couple drives last year. But with all the experience we have back on offense, them guys have seen about as much as they can see as far as different defensive looks and schemes and stunts and blitzes, and so I think that's a huge factor in us being able to start fast.
I bet they've seen every kind of front and on demand.
And that's what I tell them. It's really hard to have such a high-powered offense to line up scout teams, because really, you don't even know what you're going to get. And that's what I tell them. I said, if you have a great offense, you're probably not going to see the defense you see on film, because if you see the defense you see on film, they think they can stop. If you see a defense that's different, then they probably don't think they can stop you running their base stuff, and you're probably going to see something different, something you may not even worked on. And that's what we saw a lot last year. Honestly, we would go out there in the first 2 drives. We hadn't practiced it all week, and it took us a couple drives to figure out what we were doing, what we needed to be doing. And so with the experience this year, we've been able to basically block and run plays to any defense.
Talk about that offensive line, man. They've seemed to, I don't know, man, even, when Joyner had gotten injured, and they don't seem to miss a lick, though, man. These guys are playing at an elite level right now.
And we've got 6 guys all the six guys that play on our offensive line from the start, every one of them started the game last year.
That's awesome.
And so that's big, and we've got some really good offensive linemen, size and strength, but then we got some guys that are just blue collar. I mean, get after it, always going to do the right thing type guys. And when you put that mixture together, it makes a pretty solid unit.
100%. Coach, defensively, you guys had a shutout with the starters, and then you pulled them. Again, the defense is playing at an elite level ever since. It seems to me around the second half of that Thompson game, things has changed.
Yeah, and I think it's just confidence, them getting used, because we do have a lot of new guys on the defensive side. But they're always going to play with that physical style. They're always, we're not huge up front. We're not, but our kids fly to the football. Secondary wise, we're going to cause problems for some people, because we are so long and rangy, and our kids will hit you. So
no doubt about that.
We do a good job of causing turnovers. We had a pick, Rodriguez Helston picked one, took it to the house last week. Our defense is doing a good job, and they take on the mentality of their coach. I truly believe that. Our offense takes on the mentality of Will. Our defense takes on the mentality of Coach Cochran. And that's what makes it great, because both of those guys are super competitive. They love the kids, and it makes it easy as a head coach to have guys like that who've been head coaches before, who know what it takes to get the best out of the kids that they coach, and who do it the right way. So
100%. Will, this week you guys are playing Gadsden City. I know you've kind of watched film on them at this point. They seem to be a different Gadsden City team. They're playing at a pretty high level. What have you seen from those guys?
The thing that I think the first time I watched film on, the thing that stood out to me was their speed on defense. I think they really move around well, and they play hard. They really get to the ball well. That's tough, man. Speed is one thing that's hard to teach. It's something that a lot of times you have, you don't. And so right now, to me, this is going to be the fastest defense we've faced. And so it's going to be a challenge. I mean, I told the guys today, man, you're going to be challenged Friday night, but be excited about it. It's going to be fun. You need to be challenged if you're a competitor.
How does it feel to have a home game?
It feels
Y'all remember
good.
what that's like?
Yeah, it feels good. That's what we were talking about when we got there Sunday. We're like, man, we got to paint the field this week.
You probably forgot how to do it.
Yeah, but it's good, man. We're glad to get it at home in front of the home crowd.
What have you seen from Gadsden City offensively? I know they played two running backs with Hicks, and our player of the week this week, C.J. Miller.
C.J. Miller. We call him the big boy.
He's a hoss.
Yeah,
Funny thing about him, he's actually a track star too.
Yeah,
believe it or not.
I believe it.
But he's and then they play two quarterbacks with Brady Troop and DeMarcus Macon, and then they have Woods out wide. They're a different looking offense, and veteran offensive line. What have you seen from those guys?
They're just solid. They can do a lot of different things. I think Troops, they've done a good job of him coming in and him controlling everything on offense, and then being a lot more stable, a lot more, he does a good job of getting them in good situations. And, then you have Macon, who's a great athlete, and then, of course, both the running backs. It's sort of like a thunder and lightning type thing, and they're big up front, and got great receivers. I mean, when Macon's out there and you got the other receivers, I mean, they got guys who you throw it all over the place to. And Troop has done a good job of working the ball around and getting the ball to the guys who can make plays. And their offensive line is solid, like you said. They're big up front.
Yeah, they got a lot of snaps under their belt as well.
Yes.
It's gonna be interesting. One other thing, I'll get you guys out of the rain. Will, offensively, man, you guys have, you're clicking on all cylinders. What are some of the things that you think you guys maybe need to work on offensively? Some of the things that you've seen on film up to this point of the season.
Well, one thing that I think we need to develop a better run game with our running backs. I think Trey's rushed for way more than probably he needs to, as far as keeping him upright and healthy. So I think that's one area we've got to improve on. We've got to get a steadier balance with our running back and get them more involved in the run game.
100%. Coach, same thing defensively. What are some of the things you've seen that kind of jumped out at you? That I know perfectionists like you two guys, somebody can sit there and watch a 50-something to nothing game and be like, oh, man, but I know you two guys are sitting there like, nah, we need to do this, and
Well,
this.
yeah, and that's the good thing about having Will and Coach Cochran. Both of them guys are they're very detail oriented and very, very to the point of, these are some things that we got to work on this week. These are things we got to get better at because this is what they're going to give. So I think defensively, we just gotta fit right. I think that we have to lock up and tackle. It's some little things. The effort's there. The kids are playing super hard. We just gotta lock up and tackle. And we got a big chore on our hands this week. The big kid's going to present a lot of issues as far as you got to lock up, hang on, and wait for help to come. So and rally to the football. We gotta stop him before he gets started.
That's right.
I think. Watching film on him last week, he did a great job last week getting those legs moving and then just continuing to grind.
Main part, let him get to running downhill. You can't do that.
Yeah, he's a great player. And Ollie's done a great job over there. Coach Smith's done a great job. In a this short period of time. They've transitioned well, and I think that they're getting better and better.
Absolutely. Coach, we got to figure out some way to get him and Coach Cochran. We got to put them in some sort of battle to see. I don't know what we're gonna do. UFC something. We got to figure out some way. We got to figure out. It was a video game, a wing game.
Look, it's gonna. I guarantee you, Will's gonna want to stick and move, and Chad's gonna want to ground and pound.
Hey, he's gonna want to Debo him. Yeah, we got to figure out something.
Hey, those guys get along great. Both of them, you sit and talk about the competitive part when they're on the field and stuff and competing, which is great, but they get along great off the field when they're in the coach's office. We got a great camaraderie with our coaches, and I think that the kids see that and they feed off that.
And I think that's one thing that's big for us is not just, we've got a great head coach, we've got great coordination, we got awesome assistant coaches.
Absolutely.
I mean, they take so much off of me. It's amazing. I think that's on both sides of the ball. And those are the guys that a lot of times don't get a whole lot of recognition. We're talking about the offensive line. Coach Tapp's our offensive line, Coach Stanford.
Yep.
They do a phenomenal job. That's probably one of the major reasons why our offensive line has been so successful.
That's the thing behind the scenes that you don't ever see, but you as coaches know, hey, without this guy, this wouldn't be this.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. You can talk about every one of those. Coach Bain, Coach Cheney. I mean, we can go down the list and name every one of our coaches, and every one of them are a huge part of what we do offensively and defensively, and every one of them brings something different to the table. And it's like I said, it all has to fall together for you to win championships. Everything has to fall together. You have to have coaches. Kids have to believe in what you're doing, and they have to know that you love them. It's got to be our leadership at the school level and at the city level has to be at a point where you can depend on those guys to have your back in big situations, and it's been the perfect storm. We've had a lot of support.
That's awesome, Coach. Good luck to you guys, man. We're actually gonna come to this game this week.
Awesome.
I'm gonna bring Reggie. Reggie got
Hello,
Kansas City.
Reggie, man.
He got Kansas City tattooed on him, though. He's a Kansas
Come
City.
on, Reggie.
He's a Kansas City man through and
That's
through.
all right. That's all right. Bring him on.
We're gonna come down here and check you guys out. Good luck to you guys. We'll get out of the rain now.
Hey, appreciate you having us.
Appreciate you. Go big.